Right, let's get into some stories of the day now and just see what's topping the diary on this Friday. So first up, the Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture is expected to hear Stina Dairy Farm and Transnet-related evidence when it resumes this morning. Researcher Paul Holden is expected to continue testifying.
Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga will today host a media briefing to give an update on the progress of the matric examinations.
And your latest statistics. So 4,400 new coronavirus infections identified in the past 24 hours. This is the most that we've seen since the peak here in South Africa. This is bringing the cumulative number now to 800,872. Number of deaths is at 21,803. A total of 739,367 people have recovered. And the total active cases in South Africa are 39,702.
Moving on to those trending topics now, starting off with first up, hashtag Nelson Mandela Bay. And this, of course, because of the restrictions that have now been imposed on that particular metro, given the rising number of COVID-19 infections. So that's been identified as a hotspot, the hotspot at the moment in South Africa for COVID-19 infections. And the president, of course, last night in that family meeting, making that announcement that the curfew will be 10 again until 4 a.m. The sale of alcohol again with added new restrictions, and then no partying on the beaches, gatherings on beaches. Also speaking to general after tears, no more after tears. All of these sort of gatherings that could act and precipitate the spread of the virus have been curtailed.
Yeah, and also, of course, your initiations, which was brought up quite harshly here with regard to trying to curb and bring the hospitalization numbers, because I think that was what was emphasized last night, is that we're seeing the beds filling up very, very fast in hospitals, and this is what these measures are trying to curb. So for now, and I think that's important to emphasize, for now it's the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, but of course we just keep watching those numbers. So Cyril Ramaphosa also trending, and that's obviously he was speaking to us last night, and I think more people were actually giggling at the fact that you do know he actually referred to his address as a family meeting now. It shows you how much influence the country has on the president as well. It's like now, like a State of the Nation address is now called a family meeting, and he knows it. But anyway, so I mean, that was the talking point. Not to mention, besides what was being said last night, of course, that was the lockdown. There was also the issue of Matsela Koko yesterday at the commission. So I think it was a double whammy for the president, because he was also being basically implemented by Matsela Koko, saying that Cyril Ramaphosa, our president, who was the deputy president at the time, interfered in the Utilities Board decision to dismiss him. So that was another major talking point. Koko as well, a big one. That's another trend.
Indeed, and also the fact that the president was the chairperson at one of the mining companies that supplied coal to Eskom at the time that 1.6 billion rand penalty was imposed on that particular entity. And Matsela Koko basically saying, these were some of the issues that contributed to his demise at Eskom. And the president was indeed part and parcel of all of that. So the president trending for that reason, and of course the family meeting. But then Matsela Koko, his appearance at the Zondo Commission last night, and directly implicating President Cyril Ramaphosa, who was then deputy president of the country. So it was very, very interesting. He started off, asked for those 15 minutes from the commission chair so that he could make that statement, which he did, spoke about his performance during his time at Eskom, and said that the commission has essentially been following they've been following people. They've not really followed the evidence, and that the facts would speak for themselves. He talks about Eskom at its peak in 2001, and then looks again at the best performance of that entity, which was a world leader in 2001, happening again during, I think it was 2015, when he was there, and just basically making the point that the commission needs to follow the evidence and not people. Which is a fair point.
Very much so.
Fair argument. The commission chair then said, well, he had wished that some of these evidence had been brought to the commission earlier, because the commission is now nearing the end of its tenure. So it's going to be interesting, because Marcela Coco will be back at the commission again next week, where it's bound to get more interesting when it gets into issues pertaining to Tegeta amongst others. But implicating the president in no uncertain terms.
Yeah, wonder if he'll be invited to the testimony to give his side of the story.
Well, should he?
Yes, don't you think?
Yeah. He must come and give us his side of the story.
All right, well, let's quickly take a break here on the program.